Yeah, good morning, friends. Welcome back. So, yesterday was a very basic session. What we did yesterday, we just tried to understand the concept of network and networking, and we have discussed about some devices. We have not discussed much about the devices. We will see that today. But we know these are the devices we use in the computer networks. Okay, and we have discussed something about cables, that is UTP cable and fiber optic cable, and we will see more about this cable in coming classes. Okay, so let us start our session now and let us see more about the devices actually. Like, in computer network, there are many devices we have. Like there is a router, there is a server, there is a switch, there is a firewall. Okay, there is a printer and all these devices. So when you go with this server administration course, we need to learn about two devices. One is your server and the other one is your computer or laptop, whatever you say. These are the two devices we are going to discuss in our server administration course. So what exactly we need to learn about the server and the computer. Now, there are certain layers we have in computer and there are certain layers we have in a server. So if I go with this computer first, the first layer in a computer is your hardware layer for sure. Like any other machine, this is also a hardware machine. Fine, this is your hardware. Now, what is there in this hardware? What we need to discuss, what we need to learn? There are certain components we have that we need to see. Like one is CPU, Central Processing Unit. Then we have RAM, Random Access Memory. Then we have hard disk. Then we have like this NIC card. Okay, so these are the four major components we have. Of course, there is a motherboard, there is a power supply, and we have like some other components. But these are the four major components we have in every computer. Coming to CPU, what is there in CPU? Or what exactly is CPU? Actually, CPU is Central Processing Unit. This is like, the brain of the computer, right? That is what we know from many years now. CPU is the brain of your computer. CPU is the most powerful part of your computer. Okay, so whatever processing is happening inside your computer, CPU will take care of each and everything. Now, there are different families and different generations we have in CPU. Like there is something called i3 processor or i5 processor or i7 processor. And nowadays we have like i9 processor also, right? These are some of the processors we have: i3, i5, i7, and i9. So if you take any computer or any laptop in last 7-8 years, you will get minimum i3 processor or above. You may get i3 or maybe i5 or maybe the latest one is i7 and i9. So this processor defines the speed of your machine actually. Okay, so not only this i3, i5, i7, and i9, this series we need to see. We need to see some other things in processor. Like we need to see the speed of the processor. Let me go with the processor here separately. So the first thing we need to see here is the speed. How much speed we have in this processor. Second one we need to see here is how many cores we have in this processor. So if I go to my machine, my physical machine that I'm using right now, if I go to this PC and if I go to properties of this PC, here I can see clearly my processor is a i5 processor and the speed of the processor is 3.230 gigahertz. This is i5 processor and the speed is 3.30 gigahertz. Okay, that is a very good speed for a personal computer. i5 processor and 3.30 gigahertz speed. Okay, so you should always check how much speed you have. Okay, that is the one thing you should see, how much speed you have. And the second thing you should check is how many cores you have. So what is a core here? Core is actually a logical part of your processor. Core is a logical part of your processor. Every processor has minimum one core will be there for sure. But see, when you go with the latest processor, or if you go a processor with like which came in last 7-8 years, every processor has minimum 2 cores. So there can be 2 cores in a processor, or there can be 4 cores in a processor, there can be 8 cores in a processor, or there can be like 16 cores in a processor, there can be like 12 cores. Okay, there are like different number of cores we have in a processor. Your computer can be i5, my computer can be i5. Same processor, i5, i5. Your computer speed can be 3.30 gigahertz. My computer speed can be 3.30 gigahertz. But still, your computer is better than my computer. Your computer can be better than my computer. How that is possible? There are number of cores available. In my processor, maybe there are 2 cores available. That means one processor is working as 2 processors. But in your processor, there are like totally 4 cores. In your CPU, there are totally 4 cores. That means one processor is working as 4 processors. Okay. One processor is working as totally how many processors? 4 processors. So that's better, right? One physical chip, one CPU is working as 4 CPUs, means that's much better. But obviously we need to pay more money for that. If you want to go with like 8 cores in a processor, the cost of that processor will be much more higher compared to a 2-core processor. Okay, so when you go with a CPU, we need to see the speed of the CPU, as well as we need to see how many cores we have in that CPU. And there are some other things we need to see, like there is something called cache memory. We need to see how much cache we have. And then we need to see whether it is supporting the virtualization option or not. Then we need to see whether there is a turbos option available or not. So there are many more things we need to see in a processor. But one thing that we need to see is speed and core. These are the 2 major things we need to see. Okay. Next component here is your RAM, random access memory. Random access memory nowadays is minimum like 4 GB we are getting in every computer and laptop. You can go with like 8 GB or 12 GB or 16 GB, 32 GB, and even up to like 64 GB RAM is available in a computer or a laptop. So how much RAM we need to take? Whether we should go with like 4 GB, or should we go with like 16 GB, or should we go with like 64 GB? So if you go with 4 GB, you are spending some money, you'll pay some amount. But if you go with like 32 GB, then you have to pay more amount, right? You're getting more RAM, that means you're paying more amount. So in a company, if there are 1000 computers, every computer has a memory for sure. Every computer has a hard disk for sure. Every computer has a CPU for sure. So can I take 32 GB RAM in each and every computer? Or can I go with like 4 GB RAM in each and every computer? Now, this is what we need to decide as an administrator. We simply cannot take 4 GB RAM in every computer, and we simply cannot take 32 GB RAM in every computer. There are certain people in a company who need maybe 4 GB RAM, that is more than enough for them. There are certain people in a company who need maybe 8 GB RAM, that is more than enough for them. Again, there are some people, for them, maybe we have to take 32 GB RAM. So on what basis we can decide how much GB RAM should be allocated to each and every user, or how much GB RAM should be taken in each and every computer? Then we will see within like 5-10 minutes. Okay, but as of now, just try to understand there is a component called RAM, and the capacity of RAM will be like 4 GB, 8 GB, 12 GB, 16 GB, something like this. Okay, so what we need to see in a RAM? First of all, we need to see the capacity. More the capacity, better the performance. Okay, the second thing we need to see here is the speed of the RAM. Every RAM has a speed, so that we need to check. Again, if this RAM speed is higher, the machine performance will be better. So these are the 2 things we need to consider. These are the 2 things we need to see whenever we are buying a laptop or a computer. Not only for your personal use, it is in company, or not only in the company, it is for your personal use also. I repeat, if there are 1000 computers in a company, every computer will have a separate configuration. Every computer will have a different configuration. Okay, and the configuration, it depends on the user's work. Accounts people may use 4 GB or 6 GB RAM. Programmers may go with like 8 GB or 12 GB RAM. Multimedia people will go with like 32 GB RAM maybe. So we have like different types of people working in the company, and for every person we have a separate requirement. done. So go with like 4 GB, 8 GB, 12 GB, 16 GB, whatever. Okay. So how we can decide? Let us see now. Now on top of this hardware, there is one more layer here. The second layer we have in a machine is your operating system. We know this very well. A computer will not work until and unless there is an operating system installed there. Okay, so first is your hardware layer. The second one is your operating system. Operating system can be Windows 7, Windows 8, Windows 10, or operating system can be like Linux operating system, or operating system can be a server operating system, anything. But on a machine, there should be a operating system running. Okay, now suppose you're using a operating system like Windows 10. You know how much space it will use, how much RAM it will use. Windows 10, it will use 2 GB plus. To run Windows 7 or Windows 10 operating system in your computer, you need minimum 2 GB or maybe a bit more than 2 GB of RAM available in your computer. Then only Windows 10 will work. Okay, so imagine Windows 10 will use around 2.5 GB of RAM. And suppose in your computer there is totally 4 GB. Out of 4 GB, 2.5 GB is already used. So the remaining will be 1.5 GB. Yeah, very simple calculation, right? Totally 4 GB RAM is available in your machine. Out of 4 GB, 2.5 GB will be used by Windows 10. So remaining will be like 1.5 GB. Now, on top of this operating system, we have one more layer. On top of this operating system, there is one more layer here. And that layer is your application layer. Application layer. So we are running some applications here. So what applications we are running here? In a computer, you may run MS Office, or you may run antivirus, or you may run some application like Google Chrome, or you may run some applications like Windows Media Player. Right now, the Zoom meeting is running in your machine. So that is again application. So all these are applications. So every application will consume some memory. Some applications, they may consume like, 300 MB of memory. Some applications may consume only 50 MB of memory. Some applications, even they consume like more than 1 MB of 1 GB of memory. So like this, applications will use some memory. So how much memory they use, it depends on that particular application. So our computer has totally 4 GB RAM. Okay. And out of this 4 GB RAM, 2.5 GB is already used by your Windows operating system, that is Windows 10, and remaining is 1.5 GB only. So in this 1.5 GB, all the other applications will run. Now I'll show you a very basic example here. If you go to this taskbar, right click and go to this task manager. Go to taskbar, right click there and go to this task manager. If you go to task manager, there is an option called performance here. In this performance, it will show you how much GB RAM is already in use. See, in my machine, there is totally 16 GB RAM. Can you see memory is written here? So I have totally 16 GB RAM. Out of 16 GB RAM, right now 3.7 GB RAM is already in use. I repeat, out of 16 GB RAM, 3.7 GB RAM is already in use. So what I'm using here, I'm using Windows 10 here, and I'm using this Zoom meeting, and I have opened some other applications like MS Paint or maybe MS Office and all those things. So it is consuming that much memory. Fine. Now, I'll just go to some browser here. I'll go to YouTube. I'll just try to open some Durgasoft videos here. I'll just try to open some videos here. Done. How many videos open? And like 7, 8 videos I have opened. Now let us see how much memory it is consuming. Now see, it is using 4.9 GB now. I just open like 7 to 8 YouTube channels or YouTube videos here, and it is consuming 4.8. Before it was using 3.7, now it is using 4.8. That means it is using more than 1 GB now. It is using more than 1 GB. See, it is using 4.8 here, right? I'll close all this here. Once I close all this, it came back to 3.7. Can you see here clearly? The memory usage here is again 3.7. That means whenever you start using anything on a computer, whenever you start running some applications on a computer, the computer will start consuming memory from your machine. Computer will start consuming more memory. So if there is only 4 GB RAM available in your computer, okay, you can run the operating system, you can run the Windows operating system, and you can run 1 or 2 small applications. You cannot run multiple applications there. Got it? So whenever we take a computer, it's better you take a computer with minimum 8 GB RAM, because the 8 GB RAM, it will allow us to run multiple applications. It will allow us to run more applications in our machine. Got it? So on average, 8 GB RAM is enough for like all the basic use. But again, if there are some people who are using some, bigger applications, like, the applications which are related to multimedia and graphics, these applications will consume more memory. So there we have to go with like 32 GB RAM. There 16 GB RAM is also not sufficient. So like this, we have to decide, or like this, we need to see how much RAM we need in our machine. So come again, friends, there is a hardware. Hardware has CPU, memory, hard disk, and NIC card. Okay. So we need to see which CPU is best suited for our scenario, for our requirement, whether it is i3, i5, i7, and i9. Okay. Then we have to see like how much memory we have to take in that machine. We need to see what is the use of this particular user. So according to the use of that user, we need to see how much memory we have to take for that user. Done. Now, the third one is your hard disk. Hard disk is a storage device. Hard disk is a storage device. In hard disk, normally we get like 500 GB hard disk. At least we are getting 500 GB hard disk nowadays. Or we can go with like 1 TB or 2 TB of hard disk. This much is easily available. Okay, there is a question here, like what is generation differentiate in CPU? See, whenever they release a new generation, that means they make some changes. Like the speed will be more, or a new generation will support some new applications, or a new generation has some extra features. Okay, that is just for business purpose, and maybe like, they will add some more features for sure. And the second thing is for business actually. When you go with i5 processor, there are many generations. So whenever a new thing is coming in i5, they will release with a new generation. Generation 7, generation 8, generation 9, something like this. So whenever people take a i5, i5 is there for last 7 years or 8 years actually, and at least 7 years. i5 processor is there for last 7 years. But when you compare the first i5 processor to the processor that we get today, there are many differences. Okay, so in generations, every time they will add something and they will just try to improve the processor performance.
So is generation very important one, or?
It is very important for sure. It is very important. Okay, so normally if you go with like last 3-4 generations, which came in last 2-3 years, then that is manageable. But if you go with like i5 first generation, then it is a bit older processor. It is i5, but it is i5 first generation, right? So it is a bit old processor. So we should try to get the latest generation.
Now, which generation is the best one, sir?
It depends. The latest generation will be always better.
Okay.
i5 latest generation processor. So you can go and check here which generation here. This is the 12th generation Intel 12th generation i5 processor. And when you compare this i5 12th generation with the initial generations, there will be a lot of differences. See how many cores we have here. Totally we have like 10 cores. Okay, so like this we can see different generations here. Let us see second generation. I hope I'll get something here. Yeah, this is your second generation. You can see it is a bit older machine. We'll see. I'll show you the specifications at maybe for some time. But if you go and check the generations and their features and specifications, you can easily find out like there will be some differences between each and every generation. Okay. So coming back to this hard disk part, hard disk is a permanent storage device. I repeat, hard disk is a permanent storage device. Whatever data we save in our machine, it will be saved in the hard disk. So in hard disk, what we need to see, or we can decide like which hard disk is better. Again, we have to see the same two features. What we need to see? Hard disk, we need to see the capacity, how much GB it has, 500 GB, 1000 GB, 2000 GB, whatever. See the capacity. Then see the speed of your hard disk. The speed of your hard disk is measured in RPM actually, rotate per minute. So it can be like 5400 RPM, or it can be like 7200 RPM. So which one is better? The 7200 RPM is better. Again, there is something called SSD hard disk and the other hard disk. So we have like some other things there. But overall, when I say hard disk, I'm talking about the capacity here. What exactly or how much size that hard disk has. And the second thing is I'm talking about the speed of the hard disk. Whether it is 5400 RPM or 7200 RPM. Better go with 7200 RPM. Okay. So these are the things we need to consider in hard disk. And the last thing that we have to see here is the NIC card. Every computer has minimum one NIC card. NIC card is your network interface card. See where you connect your network on your machine. You connect your network on your machine to this NIC card. You take a cable and this cable will be connected in your computer or maybe in your router or maybe server or wherever. But where it will be connected? It will be connected on your network interface card. That is your NIC card. I repeat, every computer has minimum one NIC card. NIC card is a port or NIC card is a component using which you can connect a device to the network, whether it is internet or whether it is intranet. Whatever network you have, you will use NIC card to connect that device. On NIC card also, we have to see the speed. The speed on the NIC card can be like 1000 MB or it can be like 10,000 MB. Both are gigabit port in 1 gigabit port or 10 gigabit port. Normally on a computer, actually, 1 gigabit port is more than enough. 1 Gbps is more than enough. But if you want to go with like a server machine, there we have to go with like 10,000 MB. That is much better. Okay, friends. So these are the three major layers we need to understand in our computer. One is a hardware layer. Hardware layer has these four major components. Motherboard will be there. The fifth one, the power supply will be there. That is the sixth one. So we have like some more components, but these are the four major components that will define the speed of your machine. CPU, RAM, hard disk, and NIC card. We should see all the four things, and then we need to decide which machine, what configuration we have to take for this particular user. For your personal use, we need to calculate everything like what exactly you're working on that machine, then decide the configuration. And in a company also, we need to see how many people are there. Okay, there are 1,000 people. Out of 1,000 people, this many people are working as HR. So their requirement is they will use this operating system and they will use these applications. Okay, so they need this much. Okay, we have like multimedia people. Multimedia people will use this operating system and they use these applications. So this application will consume this much memory. So we need to consider all these things and then we need to decide Okay, this processor is the best processor, or this much RAM is best suited for my scenario. We are the people who should decide this configuration. Done. So hardware is the first layer, operating system is the second layer, application is the third layer in your computer. This is laptop or computer, whatever. I hope it is clear, friends. This is the way we need to, like, understand the computer hardware. OS will take some time to see. We have like couple of classes for operating system as well as application. We need to see all these things. But right now we are just, concentrating more on our hardware. Now, let us take this server hardware. Now, first of all, server is something like a computer. Server also has a hardware. Server hardware is same like your computer hardware. The first layer in server is the hardware layer again. Okay. Then we have the operating system here. And the third layer, what we have in server is either this is application or we can call it as services. This is what comes in the third layer, application layer or this service. So we have the same layers here. One is the hardware layer. Second one is the operating system layer. So yes. Okay, fine. So second layer is your operating system layer, and third one is your application layer or services. Done. And this machine is your server machine. Now, hardware wise, there will be a CPU here. There will be RAM here. There will be hard disk here, and there will be an SD card here. But there will be some differences. The RAM that we have in your server, the same RAM we cannot put into your computer. And the RAM that we have in the computer, the same RAM we cannot put into the server. Component is same, but the design and the structure will be different. One is designed to run in a computer, and another one is designed to run in a server. So component names will be same, but components size and the speed will be different. Okay, coming to CPU, we have like some generations here also. We have like Intel. In Intel, we have like many processors. There is something called Intel Xeon processor, which is quite famous in servers. Okay, coming to RAM, there can be like 16 GB RAM, 32 GB RAM, or maybe like 64 GB, 128 GB, 512 GB. Compared to computer, the RAM in a server can be like much more than compared to a computer. It can be like 500 GB RAM also. It can be like 1000 GB RAM also. Hard disk, like 1 TB or 2 TB is more than enough in a computer. But coming to a server, the hard disk can be like 100 TB. It can be like 100 TB or it can be like even 500 TB of hard disk easily available in a server. Coming to NIC card, one NIC card will be there in computer, that is more than enough. But in a server, in many cases, one NIC card is not sufficient. We may take 2 NIC cards, 3 NIC cards, and maybe we can go with like 4 NIC cards. We'll take many NIC cards in a server because NIC card is a place from where data is entering and data is exiting. So for a computer, one NIC card is enough. But to a server, there are some hundreds and thousands of people are connected, right? I repeat, to a server, there are some hundreds and thousands of people connected. So many people are entering into server and many people are exiting from server. So there we need more NIC cards with much higher speed. So I repeat here, friends, the components between computer and server are same. The components between computer and server are similar. The problem, it's not a problem, sorry. The components will be same, but the difference here is this server components are much more bigger in speed, are much more bigger in the capacity compared to the computer. Okay, I'll take you to one motherboard here, a computer motherboard and a server motherboard. Let us see what differences we can see there. Whether it is processor or hard disk or RAM or NIC card, everything is connected to motherboard, right? So this is a computer motherboard, and this computer motherboard has certain components or certain ports here. Like say this is called CPU socket. Means this is the place where you connect your processor, whether it is i3, i5, i7, whatever, it will be connected here. That is called your CPU socket. And can you see these are your RAM slots? How many RAM slots we have in total here? We have totally 4 RAM slots. 4 RAM slots means suppose each RAM slot is supporting 4 GB RAM. 4 multiplied by 4 will be how much? 16 GB RAM will be supported on this machine. What if each RAM is supported, each slot is supporting 8 GB RAM? 8 multiplied by 4 will be like 32 GB RAM will be available here. 32 GB RAM we can put there. Okay, so we have totally 4 slots here, and each slot contains this much of memory and this much of processor. Okay, so this is the processor slot. It can be i3, i5, i7, and these are the RAM slots. So each RAM slot will support this much of capacity. So totally, if it is supporting 8 GB in each slot, so we can put totally 32 GB RAM. So this is your processor socket, and this is your RAM slot, and this is your NIC card. You can see clearly there is one NIC card connected there. So what this NIC card will do, this NIC card will make connection between our machine and the network. So this is the place where you connect your cable. So there is one NIC card available. If you want to add one more NIC card, that is possible. We can add one more NIC card here. How to add one more NIC card here? There is a separate NIC card available in the market. You can just go there and purchase the NIC card, and that NIC card we can insert here. This is called PCI slot, peripheral component interface. So here we can put this NIC card. So then it will be like 2 NIC cards in a single computer. Suppose this NIC card is not working actually. For some reason it is not working. So instead of taking the complete computer to the service center, instead of repairing this NIC card, we can just buy a NIC card there. This is called inbuilt NIC or onboard NIC. This one. Okay. So we can take a separate NIC card and we can put this NIC card here, and again the machine can be connected to the network. So whatever, there is a NIC card by default available, and if you want to add one more NIC card, we can add one more NIC card there. So RAM is over, CPU is over, as well as the NIC card is over. And this is the place where we connect our hard disks. This is called SATA ports. This is a place where we connect our hard disk. Got it? This is your computer motherboard. And here the power supply will come. The SMPS power supply is connected here. The remaining things are like, no need to worry about the other things. Like there is a USB here, there is a PS2 keyboard, mouse, sound. This you know very well. And internally also we can see some VGA port here and some other like, north bridge, south bridge. So no need to worry about all those things. Overall, you should know where exactly which component will be connected, especially where CPU should be connected, where RAM should be connected, and where hard disk should be connected. Okay, friends. So this is your computer motherboard. Now, I will go and see one more motherboard here. That is your server motherboard. See, there is a huge difference between a computer motherboard and a server motherboard here, right? What are the differences we can see here, friends? One of the major difference here is 1, 2, 3, 4. There are totally 4 processor sockets here. There are totally 4 processor slots. So how many processors we can fit here? How many processors we can put here? We can put totally 4 processors. i5, 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 i5. Server is a machine where minimum 1 processor will be there, or it can be multiple processors. I repeat, server is a machine where minimum 1 processor can be there, or there can be like multiple processors in one single machine. Because server is a machine where hundreds and thousands of people are connected. So the processing in server should be much more faster compared to a normal computer. Done. So we have 4 processor slots. And see here how many NIC cards we have here. There are totally 3 NIC cards. And each NIC card speed is, let's say, 10,000 MB. So total speed is like 30,000 MB. That's a huge speed to have. Okay. Then we have these RAM slots here. See how many RAM slots we have here, friends. These are RAM slots. These are RAM slots. Too many, right? Let us calculate how many 6 is 12. Okay, there are totally 48 RAM slots here. How many? There are totally 48 RAM slots. And imagine each RAM slot is supporting 16 GB RAM. So 48 multiplied by 16. 48 multiplied by 16. 768. So this machine will support up to 768 GB of RAM. That is too much. Anyway, that is not too much actually. That is needed maybe in many cases. If you compare the server with a computer, of course, that is too much. But there are many servers where there is more than 768 GB of RAM. Okay. So server is a machine where many things are running, many services are running. It can be used for the virtualization purpose. What is virtualization? We will see in coming sessions. But server is a machine where many things are working. So server RAM will be more compared to a computer or a laptop. In server, we will have many processors compared to a computer or a laptop. In server, we will have many NIC cards compared to a computer or a laptop. Computer is designed for a single user. Server is designed for the network. On computer, only one user is connected, whereas on server, there are some hundreds and thousands of users are connected. So obviously, the hardware should be much more on a server compared to the computer. If I can take a very simple example here, we know this bike. Yeah, if you go and check the bike here, we have like the bike size is much more smaller, right? It can carry 2 people easily. But if you go with a truck, see, there is a huge difference here, right? The size of the truck is much more bigger than this bike, and it has many more tires and a bigger engine and a bigger body, and it can carry more stuff, or it can carry more people. If I go with a bus here, I can take the example of bus also. Size is bigger, it can carry more people there, right? So bus is something like a server. Bus will carry more people, and bus can carry more people for a very long distance. So bus hardware is much bigger compared to the bike hardware. So bike is something like a computer or a laptop. Server is something like a bus. There are tires in bike, there are some tires in bus. There is a seat in bike, there is a seat in bus. There is an engine in bike and there is an engine in bus. The component names will be similar, right? But capacity wise, bus has like much bigger capacity compared to a bike. Okay, friends. So these are the things we should know about. These are the basic things you should understand about a computer and a server. We have just seen the hardware part. We are still in the hardware part. Operating system we will see from tomorrow. What operating system is there, and you know how to install the operating system and what are the types of operating systems. All these things we will see in our coming classes. Okay. Now let us go and check some hardware configurations of a laptop and a computer. Let us say like i5 laptop, some laptop. Randomly we will select some laptop here. Okay, so the cost of this i5 laptop is around 50,000. This one is like 94,000. Let us see what is the difference here. This is i5 and this is also i5. One is 50,000, another one is 94,000, nearly like double. Okay, so this laptop is, okay, it is coming with Windows 11, the new version. This is 11th generation. This is Core i3 actually. Okay, and 8 MB of cache memory is here. And the speed is up to 3.7 gigahertz. Okay, so memory is how much here? 8 GB RAM is available. Done. So this, I think these are the specifications here. If you want to see more about this RAM or more about this machine, we can see more here. All the details will be written here. Fine. Let us go to the other machine now. Now, first of all, it is i5 processor. Cache memory is more here. Speed is 4.5 gigahertz. That is much bigger. And total number of cores are how many? Total number of cores are 16 here. There are totally 16 cores we have. Sorry, 6 cores we have. Okay, so how many cores we have in this machine? It is not showing any core here, but it should show some core. Maybe this is a dual core, like there are only 2 cores here. Okay, comparing this machine with the other machine, there are like 6 cores here. Okay, so this is your computer. Let us see some servers. Dell server. Dell, HP, IBM, Toshiba, Lenovo. These are like, you know, some of the very famous companies that manufacture your servers. The cost of the server is 2,45,000 rupees. That is some money, right? Let us see the specification. And there is one more server here that is like 2,17,000 rupees. And there is one more server here with 86,000 rupees. So let us see the differences here between these 3 servers. There is huge difference in the pricing, right? 86,000 and 2,45,000 is some difference there. Okay. This is Intel Xeon processor and total number of the speed is 2.4 gigahertz, second generation, and total number of cores are 10. 10 cores, dual processor scalable. That means we can add 2 processors there. We have like 2 processors slot there. But each processor is supporting how many cores? 10 cores. That is huge. Now we have like 2 16 GB RAMs available and it can go up to like 1 TB of RAM. That is too much, right? Okay. And there is no keyboard, no mouse. And the main thing here is there is no operating system also. So whenever you take a server, in many cases, server will come without a operating system. This server is from which company here, friends? It is from Dell. So Dell is a company that manufacture your hardwares. The server, we have the operating system, we have to take either from Microsoft or we have to go with the Linux operating system. Okay, so this server will cost you around 2,45,000 Indian rupees. That is some money. Let us go and check the other machine. Okay, so Intel Xeon processor here, it is also supporting 10 cores, but the speed is 2.2 gigahertz, a bit less. And this is all dual processor scalable. Okay, So one slot is supporting 32 GB RAM actually. That's good. Okay, so like we have like totally 16 slots here, and the speed is 2666, 2600 speed actually it is supporting. But again, one thing we need to see here is no operating system included. This is the cost of only your physical machine. Warranty is for like 3 years. Now coming to this server, I think this is also Dell server, yeah. Okay, this is like around 90,000 rupees, right? So we can see difference here clearly. The speed is 3.4 gigahertz and we have only 4 cores. Okay, and each slot is supporting 8 GB RAM, and how many slots we have here? Totally 4. That means it will get around 32 GB RAM. Got it? And still there is no operating system included here, and the warranty is for like 3 years. These are your Dell servers. You can see all the specifications here. You can compare and you can see which is needed in your setup. Let me go with one more server like IBM server, again a very famous company. Okay, so okay, it's showing Lenovo also here, so I'll go with this Lenovo. This is showing, I think, the used one. Okay, let us go and check the Lenovo servers here once. Same Intel Xeon processors, 2.1 gigahertz, 16 cores. Again, it is supporting dual. It is supporting like 16 GB RAM in each slot, up to like there are 24 slots available there, and 8 hard disks supported there. 8 physical hard disks we can connect. And there is an option called hot swap. It is a good option to have. This option was not visible in the other servers that we have seen. Hot swap means, when this server is running, we can simply put the hard disk and we can remove the hard disk. That is called hot swap. No need to shut down the server to add or to remove the hard disk. Hot swap is a feature using which we can add something and we can remove something when the server is running without getting any electrical shock. Okay. And there is no operating system included here, and there is a warranty here, and this is the warranty from Lenovo India. So fine, there is a warranty here also, and we can see all the other basic things there. So this is some server from Lenovo. So like this, just if you have time, just go and search for some servers, just go and see the specifications, what exactly they have. Okay, you can see all the differences there. Second hand HP server. Let us just check the configuration here. The price it is showing as 75. It is not recommended to use second hand machines anyway. Intel Xeon. Memory is DDR3 actually. DDR3 is a bit old memory. Now we are having DDR4 actually. So better not to go with this. But still they are offering a warranty for 1 year. Okay, so speed is 2.4 gigahertz, 10 cores are there, 225 basic cache memory, 64 GB is the RAM here, but it is still DDR3 RAM. It is not DDR4. So see, there are some differences here we have between all these servers. So it depends on the scenario, which server you want to take, whether you want to go with like a server with like 2 cores or 4 cores and with 16 GB RAM, or if you want to go with a server with like, 12 cores and 16 cores and maybe like 200 GB RAM. It depends on your requirement. So if you want to go with like high configuration server with more cores and lot of RAM, a lot of hard disk, then of course we need to spend a lot of money. So in case if needed, the company have to go with it. It's not like, oh, it is in high cost, so we should not go for it. No, in case if it is needed, we have to go for it. That's it. There is no option there. Okay, so these are some of the things we need to see before we buy or before we order a server. Okay, so these are the two things here, friends, computer and server. So I hope you know some basics now, basic of computer hardware. These are the 4 components we need to see: CPU, RAM, hard disk, and NIC. And in every component, there are certain things we need to see to decide whether it is good or whether it is sufficient or whether it is not sufficient. Okay, so if it is not sufficient, we should not take it. If it is sufficient, we have to take it. But if your requirement is more, then we have to take the high configuration machine. If the requirement is less, we have to take the low configuration machine. If there are 1,000 computers, 1,000 computers will not be there with the same hardware. The hardware will differ for sure. If there are 30 servers, 30 servers will not be there with the same hardware. Hardware will be different. And 30 servers can be there from different companies also. It doesn't matter. We are not working, hardware is just a hardware machine. We are working on the operating system, right? So whether it is like 2-core server or whether it is like 16-core server, we are working on the operating system, and that is what we need to learn tomorrow. That is what we need to discuss tomorrow. What exactly is the operating system, and how we can install operating system, and how we can configure operating system. This is what we need to say. So this was the class for today, friends. This was the topic. We were supposed to see some introduction about hardware and some very basic things and very important things if we need to discuss about hardware. So I hope you understood what we said. So I'll be here for like some more time, couple of minutes. If you have any doubts from today's topic or anything else, we can discuss those things and we can stop the class for today. And tomorrow is a very important class for you. Tomorrow we will see how to what are the types of operating systems we have and how to install operating system in our server or computer. This is one of the most common work we do as an administrator in any network, installation of operating system. We have just seen many servers, right? And in every server there was one thing which was common, and there was no operating system included. That means when you take a server, it will come just as a raw machine. It will just come as a hardware machine. There will not be any operating system. The operating system we have to install, and how to do that installation, that is what we will see in coming 2 classes. Okay, so this was the first class for you. Yesterday was just like, introduction and all those things. So today is the first official class. So tomorrow also we'll continue from here. So what you know, guys, if there is anything else to discuss, we will see, or else we can stop the session for today and we'll come again tomorrow. Okay, fine. I guess there are no questions here. So we'll stop the session here, friends, and see you tomorrow at the same time, 11:30 a.m. with some new topics. Okay. Take care, guys. Have a nice day. See you tomorrow. Bye.